Hello, hello. I am Krystal, your holistic spirituality coach, and this is Testify Tuesday. I am here with Shameka. Hi, Shameka.
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for being here with us.
Thank you for having me.
If you aren't familiar with our Testify Tuesdays, this is what we do in our group, our Facebook group, Functional Faith. In Functional Faith, we help you go from the fruit to the root of anything that's troubling you. We help you to experience the divine all the time, even in dysfunction and doubt. So, with our Testify Tuesdays, we use empathy, education, and empowerment to help you accomplish your goals. And we like to bring in other people to serve you and to encourage you. So, today we have Shameka with us. Shameka Brown is an international parenting coach. That's so exciting. Super,
Yeah.
super fun. And also, I forgot to mention, our theme this month in Functional Faith is love. Love for ourselves, love for our families, love for God. And so we thought that it made sense to tie in some parenting goodness this month for sure, because I know I'm not the only person who loves my child, but needs some support. Need some support. Okay, sorry, interrupted the bio.
That's okay.
But she is a international parenting coach, professional development consultant, special service program coordinator. Shameka is a graduate of Southern Illinois University in Edwardsville, Illinois, with a bachelor's degree in special education, a master's degree in educational leadership from Kaplan University, and has many credentials and certification in education. Shameka is currently enrolled in Erickson Institute in the Infant Mental Health Certification Program. Her passion and dedication is helping others fully embrace themselves, their power, and honor their potential. Her career in education evolved with over 15 years of experience. Mental health and trauma is truly a passion and a concern for Shameka. She believes that mental health plays an important factor and affects every area of a child or individual. Therefore, she believes that it is imperative to discuss and create environments where individuals feel safe, secure, and able to learn and adapt in every environment and situation. Shameka works in her community and church, assisting children and young adults with educational and spiritual goals and needs. Shameka is the First Lady of Rock Hill Missionary Baptist Church. Shameka is one of the leaders over her youth department in her church. Her hobbies are singing praises to the Lord. I just did that earlier. Privately, as well as on praise and worship. Loves reading the Bible, journaling, listening to gospel music, and continuing to learn and improve in the field of education and mental health. Hi, hi. Drop some likes and some comments for Shameka to welcome her into our group.
Thank you.
Um, so, Shameka, you have quite the rap sheet. So tell us about you. Tell us about what garnished this interest in pursuing families and empowering parents.
So, as it said in the bio, I've been in the field of education for over the past 15 years, and I've been in many sectors. So, I've been in where I was the teacher assistant, where I was the teacher, I was the director, and I was in the 0 to 3 programs. And what really always connected with me was the parents. I always was the advocate for the parents. So, I was always saying, "What about the parents?" In conversations, I was always saying, "What about the parents?" In situations, and the parents were not really being heard or seen. And so as time went on, I found myself always encouraging and supporting and being there for the parents, but the program wasn't. And so over time, I just connected with parents, and then it just started to happen. I had parents calling and asking and supporting. I would go to different things, and I just connect with people. So we'll talk about children, and then children connect with me. So like whenever we were going there, their child would always just come like connect with me. And so it just happened. And so ever since then, and the passion is really just to support and let them know that they're not alone. Even though I have all the degrees and all the background, I'm still a parent like everyone else. And we still have feelings and we have emotions. and we need support. The school system is there for the children, really, and that's the piece of it about the parent I feel like was missing.
Yeah, definitely. I feel that way. Like you become a parent and there's no rule book. And you
No,
can read books and still you need support. You need that encouragement ongoing and
exactly.
people to remind you of the good stuff that you've read and help you to actually implement it.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
and that's the key when you say that there's a lot of real good books to read, but you have to adjust that book according to your family size, your cultural
Mhm.
background. Like there are so many other aspects when the writer writes it in general. It's not no set stone way of doing it. It's based on you and your family.
Yes, awesome. So talk to us about getting to the root of dysfunction, especially in the context of our families and our parenting, by using the power of our words, because I've seen you posting about it, and I know you have just really good value to offer us there. So can you talk to us about that?
So yes, thank you. So one of the things, we always hear life and death is in the power of our words. And a lot of times we don't realize that some of those words that words, how you say, oh, I sound like my mom, or my mom used to tell me that all the time. And you find yourself doing things, but then sometimes you find yourself doing things and you feel uncomfortable. You find yourself doing something and your child doesn't respond that way. And so for me, I haven't really been dealing with my words with my children because I realize my children all have a different language. And what's so amazing when you say that we are doing a parenting affirmation challenge, but we're trying the five love language of your children, the book by Gary Chapman. So it's amazing when you say you're doing the month of love. We're learning our children's love language as well as our own so that we can help them. But what we learned when we started the challenge, we just started this past Monday, is that you can't support your child until you deal with some of those things that's going on with you. Because a lot of times, as a parent, our child can do something and it brings back a memory that's inside of us, and we respond out of our emotions instead of really connecting, thinking about it, like stopping, reflecting, and then interacting with it. We don't really do that. So what we're doing in the group right now is just really digging deep to the root of what's in our heart. Because out of your mouth flows the issues of your heart. So as a parent, our children don't really know what they're doing. It's something that they learn from environments, television, all those things. So we have to begin to first learn our children's love language. That's talked about. Then, as you learn a language, you're going to speak to that situation. Think about growing up in my community. I remember when they say, "Oh, you're not going to be nothing," and all those things, and then you're so determined to prove to people that you end up being something that you don't want to be because you never got a chance to love yourself. So we encourage each other in a group. It's called a group called Parenting on Purpose, and we're on Facebook as well. But we learn that we cannot show up for ourselves as a mother or father until we self-care and show love for ourselves. And that's what we're learning through this process, is that we have to really dig deep and find out, why do we think we're not beautiful? Or why we'll say, oh, I can't do this, or I don't look like her. Like we have this comparison mechanism where we always comparing and we don't see the beautifulness in us. But what happened there? Was it a parent that just began to speak over you? Was it a teacher? Was it that past relationship that you had with a boyfriend or a girlfriend? Was it just yourself? Like we really got to get to the root of what's our dysfunction. And it really takes a thing of literally what we did this week was brain dump all those negative things that we say so much, and we're actually sitting down and going through the process of where did it come from, who said it, why do I feel that way, how did I get here, and what do I need to do next. And then once we get to that, then we can begin to change those negative thoughts to positive affirmations that speak to it. Now, one thing I really push, because I'm really faith-based, is that see what the word says about it. So I'm always going to the Bible. It's in her about family, about love, about children. And then speak what the Bible said, because the word of God is powerful. And when you say it out of your heart, it reaches people and then it reaches your children. And so once we get working on ourselves as a parent, then we can begin to do that same thing with our children by those love languages that Gary Chapman says in his book. Um, Acts of service, affirmations, physical touch. There's one more I can't think of, but there's
Yes.
to do it. Huh? Really, thank you. And and there are ways to do it. But and then one thing we all know, love have people do things. Love has a big effect on everybody. So if it's done in the right way, how many times you don't have to yell at that child to say sit down? When you could just say, go in and touch them if they love it. I said, my son Micah, can you come sit down because he's a touch, and me touching him with love, not angry because I did it. It calms him down and he sits down. So our words are powerful. And as I say, as a man thinketh, so is he. So whatever you're thinking about yourself, and one thing about it is you can speak positive affirmations, but their belief center, their root, if it's not in alignment with what you're speaking, you're just quoting something that you heard somebody else say, and it's not going to connect with you and help you become who he wants you to be.
Oh my goodness, that was also good. I couldn't type fast enough.
Sorry.
I was trying to type all these notes. I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch this myself because that was good.
Thank you.
Oh my goodness. Life and death is in the power of our words. The five love languages for children, which I know a lot of people have heard of the love languages in a marriage context, but a lot of people don't know that there's also the book for children.
Children's, teens, young adults, like he has a whole sector, single people, um, grandparents, helping you deal with now with computers, and like he has a whole sector. And if you're dealing with any of that with your children, I would encourage you to seek it out because they're not just doing it just to be doing it. Um,
Right.
over time, it tells you language, your child's behavior is communicating something. Your child or teen cannot communicate it with you effectively because they feel like you're superior. You know how when we have something with our boss, we can't always speak our minds. We just begin to just do stuff. We have an attitude and all that kind of stuff. That's how it is for children, except for they just might have tantrums. They might throw things. They might cry. They might sneak and do things. Like their behavior is communicating something, and you got to get to the root of it. And he gives some really good strategies, and it really helps you. And it helps your marriage. It helps you as a person because when I did it for me, mine was an act of service. And it was like, okay, help me do something. But I think that's because of the time we're in. You know, we're home, we're COVID. So when you take it now, in about a month or so, it could change. So just be open to reviewing and going back in different seasons. It can be one way, and another season it can be something else. But just be open to viewing it because love is important, and you didn't get married or have kids or be in a relationship or have that friendship if there wasn't a connection, and life can disconnect that and make it dysfunctional, and you find yourself just functioning dysfunctional, and it's okay. And what do we call that? Trauma. Because after a while
Yeah.
you're traumatized. And then my husband always say when he preaches that if you do the same thing over and over again with no results, that's sanity. You're not, I mean, that's insane. You're not okay. So we got to really, like you said, get to the root of it and figure it out because it's going to affect you in every area as you teach in your group. Like it affects your functional health and
Yes,
everything.
it does. And like what I like, that is just like the essence of functional medicine, functional health function is asking the question why. I mean, I don't even think I wrote it down fast enough, but like that exercise that you were saying where brain dumping all the negative things that you say to yourself, and we do say it to ourselves.
All day long.
We talk to ourselves all day long.
When I did it yesterday, I was like, my brain don't stop. Well,
Yeah,
why? It's because we worry about so many things. And am I doing this perfectly? Is this what my husband wants? Is this what my friend needs?
that's me.
Well, I had to say Shameka. Like I literally put on music. Like I even downloaded the Tap app you told me to download when we went on one of your sessions. I had to get centered. We are everywhere and it's affecting us in so many ways.
Yeah.
And then it's like, how did I get here? And I began to think about growing up as a kid when it was everybody in the house and you wanted to make sure you helped grandma, or when this one kid did it and mom gave him so much attention and you wanted to be seen, so you started to do. It's like all these, and I'm like, that was over 30 some years ago.
There's so much to unpack.
And it's a daily thing. Like it's not going to be one thing. This is every day.
Yeah.
Every time something negative comes to your mind, write it down. Get it
Mm-hmm.
on get a Trello board. Get it, put it in your notepad on your thing. Like get it out of you because if not, it's like that garden. You can plant a seed and let it grow, and those roots keep showing up. Why? Because you're not getting down into what's there, and,
Yes.
and that's how our hearts are. Our heart is
Mm-hmm.
a garden. And when people plant
Mm.
seeds in it, I mean it's It's real. And I believe COVID made me realize it was real
Yeah.
because we weren't going. When you stay
Mhm.
still, he show you, and it's gonna hurt because I cried. I like accept the emotions that you're in,
Yeah.
allow him to talk to you to heal you because it's painful. But when you get over it, the peace, the
Yes.
peace that you get from it is amazing.
Yeah. And we're not doing it alone. We have God right there with us
That's
in the
the key
midst.
right there.
And what, oh man, you said like basically you can't support your child until you address what's going on with you. And what else did you say? Like, we can't show up as a mother or a father until we care and love ourselves. I just can let us know what is the one thing that made the biggest difference to you and so far in this interview. And can you tell that Shameka knows her stuff? Because
Well, you know
you
what?
just are so like you're hitting it on the head, and we can't hear it enough, really. Today we were struggling with one of our children, and it is so easy to go into fear and force. And just like you said, like with the boss, if your boss comes hard at you, you might do it, but you're going to do it with the attitude, and you're going to be resentful. You
For
might
a
comply
long
and be
time.
obedient, but you're not
Exactly.
going to love them, respect them, want to obey. And I want my child to be holistically well. I want them to be emotionally healthy and independent and self-driven and intrinsically motivated to do the right things, not just know how to do what somebody tells them to do. You know
And
what I'm saying?
that's good because guess what? So Danny Siegel has a book called it was it's drama. I can't think I'm gonna look at it while we're talking. But the book talks about discipline comes from the root word discipleship. And he said in the
Yes.
book that discipleship, Jesus did not
Say it.
discipline his disciples. Discipleship means he taught them. And so your children are not going to learn from you from whooping, from physical force, from
I didn't
hell.
say it. I didn't say it. She said it.
Because guess what? I had to learn it though. And I learned it more so
Hard.
with this last one because that's how we were taught.
Yeah.
If you spank me, but guess what? You can spank me, then I'm gonna do the same thing the next day. So it's not going to change. And
Yeah.
so in that book, he talks about what are you teaching them? And you said it too, is that holistically, and not for in
Mhm.
reality, that is the whole point why I went into infant mental health because it was always like, okay, well, the mom is just traumatized. But the
Mhm.
mom is the base, that circle of security. That mom is the circle of security that child knows if I go out, I'm going to come back home to that person. It's like building a house. If you build your house on a faulty foundation, it's in the word too, whatever you build it
Mhm.
upon, when the storms of life come, is it going to sustain? The three little pigs, they all build a house, same goal, same situation, but the one took the time and built it with bricks. And what happened? They all came to his house because it was there. And when the wolf blew it down, nobody else. That is how it is with our children. They're going to be big bad wolves that's going to come in their life.
Yeah.
And how can they come to you for love if you're not together? How can
Mhm.
you teach them to love if you're not together? It's real and it take a lot. But the Bible say, what is the greatest thing about all you can have all the gifts, but charity, love. Love is the main thing about it is. And don't be so hard because it don't happen overnight. Like
Yeah.
yeah, it does not happen overnight. But I always I like how Dr. Jackie Green, Pastor Travis Green's wife, say all the time, give yourself permission and give yourself grace. Because if God gave you your child or whatever situation you're in, you have it in you. You just got to begin to get to the root of what's going on with you and give yourself the grace to deal with it and take time for yourself and just sit there. And it's called No Drama Discipline by Dan.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And it's saying no drama. It's teaching you how to deal with your child without the drama piece. Just like in every story of the Bible with Jesus, with the one with issue of blood, with the woman at the well, when everybody wants, and then when he said he without sin cast the first stone. How can we? And yes, we teach our children. Yes, they're going to learn it. But sometimes in life, just like with us, Jesus tells us to do something, and what we do? We do it all over again. The children
Yeah.
of Israel. All these things, we have the answers, but we still make mistakes. We're here to teach them how to do it. But guess what? Take the time for yourself. Say no when you need to. Be honest and open. When you're feeling overwhelmed, walk away.
Yeah.
I tell my kids, give mom 10 minutes. Recenter
Mm-hmm.
yourself. Breathe. Pray. Ask God, God, what are you teaching me in this season of my life to teach
Yeah.
my children? If your child is doing something, there's something going on. It ain't just because they bad. Please stop saying they
Yeah.
are. They are
Right.
not bad. They have some challenges, and we got to figure out what the challenge is. And that's
Mm-hmm.
the whole reason why. And way before I got my child with the challenging behaviors and with the diagnosis, I've been. I always say, God, why did you put me here? Because I was going to school to be a math teacher, and
Mm-hmm.
somehow along the way, my registration got mixed up, and I got put in another program, and it was too late. And I took it, but it was a journey that He took me on to realize all the moms I met when I was a teacher, oh, they don't understand. And now I'm that mom. And
Yeah.
I'm understanding that it's deeper. Yes, their mom might have been in the foster system and didn't know how to be loved. Yes, their parent, because you got to think about it too. Over time, what our generations before us went through is not the same. So they only did what they were taught and what they knew. So we can't not be stuck on unforgiveness. You got to
Mm-hmm.
forgive. If your mom hurt you, forgive her. She only did what she could do because you don't know what the great grandmama or the great great grandmama did today. You
Right.
don't know because the overall purpose was for you to be healthy and get a good job and not be somebody else's slave
Yeah.
or whatever else. So now we have that freedom, but now we got to, like you said, hit the financial, hit the health wise, hit
Yeah.
the mental capacity. But in overall, it teaches you if the child's social well being is not intact. Every area of their life, you wonder why your kid is not talking yet. There's some social things that may be going on, or medical. You wonder why the kid is not walking yet. The environment that you set in your home
Mm-hmm.
affects the development of your child, your relationship with your child, your love language with your child. It affects you.
Yeah.
So just look at it at a holistic approach. And if you say, man, that's me right now, give yourself grace
Mm-hmm.
that you see it, and then ask myself, and I, how our coach Camille always say, what one small thing I can do today to
Yeah.
start the process. Don't go on a journey to get it done in 24 hours because no, it's not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Day by day, step by step, little by little. All those seeds that were planted in you, when you plant seeds, you know how long it takes for something to grow? It depends on the season. And guess what? All the seeds that have been planted in our life over time, it might not have showed up when we were 10, we 30 now and it's showing up because it wasn't the season. So now that you're in that season, uproot it. But
Yeah.
be honest and say, I need help. Like connect with Krystal and say, Krystal, I need support in this, that, and the other. Connect with people. Nobody else is, you're not the only one going through. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what we talk about in our community. We like this is a community where we really say, I'm hurting without no judgment. Because guess what? It happens. I don't want to talk to my kid today. It happens. I said it even as a professional. I had to my husband because I deal with it every day. So I deal with it outside the home and then come home. And sometimes I didn't pour it into everybody else. I have to give myself 40 minutes to pour back into myself with worship, with praying, with
Yeah.
gratefulness, with gratitude, saying, Lord, I thank you for my kids. I thank you for my home. It's the small things. Because when you pour out, who filling you up?
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Oh man. You almost had me over here crying because, like, literally, like this morning, there was a challenging behavior, a very challenging behavior, and I was just like, "What?" Like, I did not. I struggle with giving myself grace because I'm like, I already know all this information, and you think if you know it, then you should be able to do it. But in the moment, it's so hard. It's so hard, and it's here's how you know that you have some work to do. When your child says something, and you know it's not true, but you get so ticked off. You just want to slap them. And you don't even whoop them. You don't even whoop your kids, but you want to slap them in that moment. That was a trigger. They
Yes.
touched something that was already sensitive in you. And one
That
of my kids
somebody else
felt
spoke
that.
to you. And then
Huh?
was somebody either spoke or either you felt that way when you didn't do something that you felt like you should have done. And
Yep.
sometimes it's us. Like we point at them, but look, that
It was
thumb like, no.
projection. We
Yeah,
project onto them a lot of stuff. And
yeah.
so, like, it was just like, I even had to, and fortunately, Kingston, he's on board. We started learning about positive parenting and stuff like that a while back. And what's interesting is that I wasn't spanked as a child. My parents, I didn't know until I was so old. I grew up thinking if I push it far enough, they're gonna whoop me. Because I heard so many stories about them getting whoopings as kids, and they didn't tell us that they weren't gonna whoop us. So I was just real compliant. So I was like, I'm pretty sure they will. So, Mom, I know you're watching this. And so, but they didn't spank my brother and I. And as kids, we were super compliant. In high school, I wilded out, but I lied about it. And so I got away. But like as a child, I was extremely compliant. My mom could look at me cross-eyed, she could look at me and I'd be devastated. It didn't take a lot.
Right.
And then but I was very strong-willed as a child, but I wouldn't push it. I wasn't explosive or really angry or anything like that as a child. My husband and I wasn't spanked. My husband, on the other hand, he was more challenging of a child. He was very, very difficult. He would blow up a lot as a child, and he was spanked. So we were like, okay, if it's six one way, half a dozen in the other. You know what I mean? Like, and then my brother wasn't rebellious even in high school, and then his sister wasn't rebellious, but both of us were in high school. So we were like, well, okay. Right. If it's six one way, half a dozen the other, like we're not going to spank because we both had anger issues. So we were like, if we bring spanking into our parenting, it would probably go abusive with it. We'd be overly spanking, and we were just like, we just won't do it. But that didn't mean we weren't, bribing and threatening and all that stuff. And so then I learned about positive parenting. I'm like, okay, I'm not being consistent, and I'm doing a ton. At the very least, I'm doing a lot of bribing. But so like bring it to today, this morning. So we do better. Sometimes we fall off. We do better. Sometimes we fall off. Bring it to today, and we're just like, okay, then no playing on daddy's phone on the weekend, because that's the only time they get to play on phones for so long. And no dessert on the tomorrow. And it's we know this. We know that this doesn't work. It just adds fuel to the fire. It doesn't do anything. And the thing is, my son, he'll express, see, I knew it. I knew no one cared about me. And I'm like, what? Like, we show you all the time that we care about you. It's so frustrating. And so then that just makes, and then he'll act out. He'll act up and act out. And so then we want to punish that. Because we're like, no, that has to stop. But it's like, we both have to talk to each other. And sometimes he's the one that comes in and is like, babe, that he needs help calming down. So let's do, tapping. Let's do a breathing exercise. Let's help him to shake it out, whatever it might be. Sometimes it's me. So today I was like, babe, and what's taught me, and you mentioned it, like with the love languages, you said it's helpful for marriage, it's helpful for parenting. What's taught me the most about my parenting has been my relationship with my husband. Because my son is so much like him when he was a child, and he used to, like I said, he used to have anger issues. And so I was like, babe, what did you need when you were heightened like this and acting out and hurting people with your words? Like, you didn't need me to threaten you or threaten to, leave you. You didn't need me to what, what I mean? Like, you needed somebody, despite all odds, even though it was counterintuitive, you needed more love in that moment. I didn't want to give it. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, you don't deserve it right now because you're misbehaviors. It's the same thing. So when we learn it with ourselves, learn to give ourselves grace in the moment of us making a mistake or being a failure, or not being a failure, but failing at whatever. Then when we learn to give ourselves grace, it's so much easier to see that, identify that in our kids and in our marriages and in our friendships and with our parents.
I say it's always a circle. It's never ending. It's never ending. Like, literally. But you made a good point, is that when you connect with someone that's with you you're on agreement, we can make it work. Or when you see, oh, that was me, like, it begin to help you. And then you begin to think for yourself, like, oh, I need to work on that because that's triggering me. So write that down. And then it's a back and forth. But I love how you said that you're working on it. And because that's the whole thing. Even though you felt that way, you can get on the camera and say, look, I did make that mistake. That's what people need to see. Real reality. Yes, you're the expert in this, but you still go through it.
Yep.
In spite of what we go through, we still go through it.
We all do.
I'm like you. This morning, didn't want to go to school. And I had to just say, whoo. give it a moment, walk away, start rubbing on them. Like, and it's almost like I say, well, why I gotta be so pleasing to him? That's what he needs in that moment. Even though we behind, that's your fault. You overslept, so you got to deal with that. But don't put it off on them.
Yeah.
So I had to do all those moments to get myself together to say, hey, you know, let me let me work through this and let us work through it. And once they hear that and see that, they'll start doing it. Or when you feel like you're not doing it, they'll be like, Mom, didn't you say we should do this? And they helping you. So don't take it as, oh, they just trying to correct you. No, God gives us grace to give us help when we need it. And your husband was yours this morning. Like, like he's like, you asked the Holy Ghost to send you a comforter or some support. I'm sending it through somebody else. Take it. Don't allow our pride and ego stop us from saying, who do you think you are? No. When that comment come, it's because you need it. So step back and regroup. And that's the hard part. It's because we want everything to be perfect. We want them to know we love them. They know we love them. It's just in those moments they can't control that sensory regulation. If they're
Yes.
talking, they can't tell you they hurting or you hurt their feelings. They're gonna throw stuff. They're gonna try to hit you. It's fight or flight. That's how they work. Fight or flight. Either I'm gonna flight to do what you want, or I'm gonna fight you because. But then again, if they have diagnosis of challenge behaviors, they don't know what to do. So they're gonna try everything. If whatever I can get you to do what I want, I'm gonna keep doing it till you get it. Bad attention, good attention. You pay me some attention, so I'm good. No matter how you get it, and so you got to remember that. And trust me, it's a struggle. Even with me working with parents, and I'm always giving answers. I am literally living it out day to day right now in my life, and I'm just grateful that even though, like you said, we know it, we're still human. You know, sometimes I say, God, what happened? Like we still got like we still got flesh, but he always said, I gave you a comforter. I always gave you wisdom. If you live in me, if you abide in me, I got you. But you got to stay rooted to me. You got to continue to seek me when you need help. You got to continue to seek me when you need something. I am your help. But when you take me out of it, it's your show. When you take me out of it, it's about you. You're not keeping me in it. So I had to for 2021, my word was alignment, and I was determined to put God in every area: my finances, my parenting, my business, my friendships, my marriage. Like because over time we get so busy with so much stuff, we
Yeah.
get dysfunctional. We can not. You can have stuff done, but it's done in dysfunction. And yes, I got this money, I got all this stuff, but I'm dysfunctional. I got headaches, I'm mad, I got all this stuff, but my soul, my heart, my mind, it's always going. That ain't peace. That
Right.
I will give you peace. But how? You gotta come to me. Come to me, all you heavy laden, and I will give you rest. You gotta humble yourself, put down your cross and let them do the work. But we don't want to do that sometimes. I'm grown. I can do this. No, he could say, stop breathing today. We don't wake up tomorrow. And guess what? That child, that husband, that business gonna keep going and you're gonna be gone. So you really just gotta really give yourself grace, give yourself peace, and allow him to work. And when you don't understand, he'll send you a song, he'll send you a Facebook post. Like literally, he'll be so intentional to meet you where you are. You gotta just look for it. Just
Yes.
be open to it. And
Yeah.
that's the key.
Oh my goodness. What a word. What a word. Okay, I don't even know where we left off, girl. I put down my notes. I was just in it. I was just in it. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna rewind only a little bit.
Go ahead.
I have down so people can make sure that they get these practical steps of using our words. Okay, affirming with our words. So you said you did already kind of break it down because you said like, what are you already saying to yourself? And
Mhm.
then, like, where did you get that message from? Was it a teacher? Was it a parent? Was it a boyfriend or something like that? And then, or a girlfriend? And then, like, what was the next step? And then it was
And,
like,
and so then when you figure out who, what, and when, then
when?
and then you're going to figure out why. And then you're going to write your emotion on how you felt in that moment, what was going on during that season of your life, and then connect it to today. Why, what today is triggering this? And then from there, you're going to declutter. You're going to begin to let some stuff go and then go into the word and find the opposite. So if I'm saying I'm not loved, find a scripture about I am loved and then speak it. over yourself and begin to write it. And then a big thing that I got from our coach Camille, write it 55 times. Write it out, because as you write it, and then if you even say it, it connects with you and it becomes a part of your lifestyle. You'll find yourself when something comes up, you know how they say when you learn the word and the word is in you, you can quote it whenever. Treat
Yes.
your affirmations like that. When that thought come up and say, I'm so big, I can't do this. I am fearfully and wonderfully made, for God said it. I am loved. I am beautiful. And in every area, when you get to that point, stop, take a break, pull out that notebook, pull out that notepad on your phone, and start working on it. Every day it's a daily thing. It's not going to happen and you're going to be done. In every season of our life, we're going to have to affirm some things, pluck up some things, speak some things, dig to the root of some things, and keep moving, because as long as we're here on earth, we're going to go through tribulations and trials. We have to just use the resources that we have. So literally, brain dump it. Why, when, what, how, who did it to me? How do I feel in that moment? And then what does the word say? And make you an affirmation based off the word. Speak the word. Literally, when Jesus spoke in the beginning, the word, he spoke it. And what happened? He created so much. Can you imagine when you begin to speak it over yourself? You begin to see yourself so much beautiful. You'll get up and get dressed and you ain't going nowhere. But then think about it with your children. When you begin to tell them how beautifully they are, they can go in a classroom and take a test and be okay. Whenever you begin to tell them this, that, and the other, when the teacher speaks something over them, they're gonna say, "No, my mama said this."
Right.
You know, because they always say, "Well, mama said, my mama said I'm going here." But guess what? If we put those affirmations in them, they're like, "My mama said I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me." You teaching them the word, but you empowering them to say, "Hey, I can do this. I got this. My situation does not determine my destination. My words and my belief will pave the way for where I'm going to go."
Yes.
Life is in the power of our words. What you speak is what you become. As a man thinketh. Out of the heart flows the issues. Whatever's in your heart and you speaking it, catch yourself. It's like, okay, I got some hard work I need to do.
Yeah.
Dig it up. And you're giving that in your group. Like you're literally helping dysfunctional. And it's okay to be dysfunctional. You got to be dysfunctional to get function. It got to be a problem for it to be solved. And when you solve it, you're going to realize, God, why you put me through this? For my children, for that girlfriend, for that coworker. Everything we go through is not for ourselves. Everything we go through. I
Yeah.
learned along the journey. I am the educator. I am the professional. I had all of that. But now I'm going through the journey myself where I could say, I know how you feel. Because I couldn't say that at first. I could say, I don't know how you feel, but I can tell you what I've learned. Now I can say, sis, bruh, I get it. I dealt with it last night. But it took the tribe that we're in together, Krystal, for me to realize I got power. And what I'm going through, he gave it to me for a reason.
Yes.
That child, he gave you that child because, first of all, it came out of you. So if it came from you, some of that's with you, and that means you got some work to do because it's a mimic. But guess what? He gave you the gifts, he gave you the support, he gave you the tribe to help you when you're going through. The season I'm in now, the tribe I got, I wouldn't know what to do with it 3 years ago. But now it's intentional. The people are intentional. The situations are intentional. My words are very intentional in this season because I want to speak into my children, into my husband, into my church members, into myself. But first of all, yourself, so that you can pour out because you can't keep pouring and you're not filling it back up. So
Yeah.
work on you first so you can show up for everybody else.
I completely agree with everything that you just said. I mean, when we before we start our homeschooling day, we say affirmations. Then we like there's a video on YouTube that I found a while back, and we just say that those affirmations. And then I also wrote like a family, I don't know, vision, a family, I guess it's like a family affirmation. And the kids have that memorized too. And then
See?
I was talking to my counselor today, and she was like, I just feel like the Lord is like saying that this and this is gonna be your homework. And I just found it. My subconscious is willing to let go of fear as a form of control. So that's my homework, is to repeat that to myself. And like I really like, fear not, I am with you, and be strong and courageous. Those are like breath prayers for
Yes,
me. Like I
Joshua
just
and
pray it.
Jeremiah, like like yeah, and
Yeah.
then don't be afraid of their faces. For
Hmm.
wherever I take you, I've already went before you. So
Hmm.
don't be afraid. No matter what, I'm with you. Even if you can't feel me, I am with you. Footsteps in the sand. I'm carrying you through it. You think you doing it, but when you turn back, who you don't see two set of footprints, you see one, because he's carried you through it. This parenting life, this dysfunctional, whatever you're going through, he's saying, just come to me, and I'm gonna carry you. But you got to believe. And I heard a message where it say, you you got to believe, ed, not believe in. We believe in God, but do you truly in your whole heart believe that he is who he is? He says what he says, you are who he called you. If you don't believe it, it don't matter, because it's not gonna work. You got to get to that underneath root of what's causing you to not believe in yourself, God, whatever He calling you to do. Get to the root of it, because out of the issues of our heart, it comes out of our mouth. What we
Yeah.
put in our mind, our ear gates, our eye gates, our mouth. You got to protect all of that. The holistic that you talk about in your group.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
a
And
it's
this
a
is
process.
Yeah, and this is functional faith. Like it's not just we've been talking for 40 minutes now, and we didn't just say find a Bible verse and just keep repeating it to yourself, and you'll feel
No,
better, and it'll be healed, and that trauma will be gone. No, but if
no,
God is with you, and you can use God's word to heal while you are doing the work. It's a
that's the
part
key
of
right
the
there.
work that you do.
That's
And
the
we have the tools nowadays, and our parents and our grandparents and our great grandparents, they didn't have the resources that we have, they didn't have the opportunity, but we are all responsible for what we have in front of us. We're accountable to what we have been given, and we've been given the resources like you, like the internet, like these communities, our tribe. We've been given more resources, and so we have more responsibility to heal ourselves and to teach our children how to heal themselves and to do the work that we can with them while they're young.
and
So, oh my goodness, it's just so in alignment with. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
you said something good. Functional faith. Faith without work is this. You got to do the functions. You got
Yes.
to really do the work. You can't just speak an affirmation that's going to come. You got to do the work.
And so many
Work.
of us feel like faith is so many of us go through a season where it feels like our faith is dead or dry or not useful or irrelevant. And that's what it boils down to is when we think that it's only when it's isolated to just read the Bible, to just
Mm-hmm.
only believe but don't act on that belief. It's oh my goodness, and it's just like everything that you said is actually we and I don't even know if we talked about this a whole lot, but my husband and I, we practice an emotional healing protocol, and the steps that you list, like it's a part of the work. It's finding the age and finding the specific trauma and dealing with those emotions that were trapped at that time. Where is it trapped in our bodies? Now let's pray about it. And let's repent if we need to of what we need to repent of, and let's forgive what we need to forgive, and let's give this up to God. And it's like all of this. It's just so good. Okay, let me try to bring it home. Bring it home.
That was I didn't even know that. That's good, because
Yeah.
can you imagine? And I know we got to finish off, but that's what the infant mental health teaches us through the process of all the they it literally you're stuck in an age. You're stuck
Yeah.
in a certain season of your life that traumatized you. Can you imagine if we don't get ourselves together, we can get our kids stuck in an age where where when wherever trauma we put on them, it'll
Hmm.
always be playing in their brains before
Yeah.
they go through life. So that's really good.
Yeah,
That's
you can get older, but parts of you can never mature when that trauma is stuck there. And it's like you said, it's a gate. It's a gate for other negative energy, other spiritual warfare to get in because it's something that's just vulnerable and unprotected and open. It's an open wound. I was, and actually, I'm like my counselor. She even said today she was getting training in another thing this past weekend, and she was saying this. It's science is starting to prove that generational trauma can last for 7 generations. And this isn't like the church has talked about generational curses and inherent iniquity
yeah.
and stuff like inherited iniquity and whatnot. But now science is starting to say no, like trauma it marks us. It marks us in our DNA and in our cells. It can be held there for 7 generations. And what when you're just trying to feed yourself, or like you said, allow your kids to not be a slave or whatever it might be, you don't have time to do that work. but you're just trying to live and get out of
Day to
poverty.
day.
You're trying to survive. But
Exactly.
we're in a different season now. We have different resources. And
Hmm.
with what we have to do this inner work and this generational work. And so we have to have grace on ourselves because it's not just us and what we've been through. It's
No,
what our moms went through, it's what our grandparents went through, but we don't have to continue passing it down and passing it down. It can stop with us, and they can have, we can let them inherit the tools and the lessons that we've learned about how to heal and how to self calm and how to have healthy relationships. The work that
exactly.
you're doing is it's just incredible.
Thank you.
Just incredible. So, can you tell us about any books that you found really helpful? And I know that you have a book on the way too.
Yes. So honestly, I have been the 5 love language has really helped. The no drama discipline is
Yep.
another good one.
Hmm.
Um, honestly, and I'm not being literally, you all read the Bible, like read it and read it in different translations to it fits where you are. You might not be in King James right now, but have it there to understand it. But ask the Holy Spirit to help you. Do New Living Translation. Do NIV. Like literally, use Google. If your child is dealing with something, Google what the Bible says about it and begin to speak it over you. Um, and also I'm in the process of writing a book through the journey of the affirmations, and please feel free to connect with me or on Facebook or join our Parenting on Purpose community, and I can also drop a link in the box as well. But um that is what's really helped me, really finding what the word says about what I'm going through, finding reading about my child's love language, and then reading about no drama discipline, because that whooping is the same hand you whoop your child with is the same one that you want them to hug you with. And then when they jump, when you try to give them a hug, it does something to you. Because, like, I'm not trying to hit you, but all I can think about is that you had that hand and you hit me. So just really, really, really be intentional and then watch your words, because we always say sticks and stones hurt, break our bones, but words don't hurt. We living through that now. Those words do hurt. So just be real careful and no drama discipline. Um, and I'll send you some more as I think about them, because I there's a couple, but really allow God to lead you, and whatever you're aligned to and whatever your belief system is, follow those things. Don't allow so many outside critics or things that you don't agree with to affect where you're going, because that's another thing that gets us sometimes. Well, she said something that I like, but if you're walking the way of the Lord, be careful with what you allow in your home, because it could affect, and it could be a spirit on your child from letting them watch one show and you trying to figure out what's going on because one thing got in that could affect it. So just be real careful. And I really thank you for this, Krystal. You actually got me thinking about life and just continue to make sure that we're supporting families during this time, because they need us, and
Yeah.
they need people like you to continue to just pour into them as you're learning and being realistic and being real, because that's what we need during these times. Real life people telling us, hey, I'm going through it, but let me help you along the way. Hey, I got a course for you to help you deal with that, because emotional intelligence is tough. Dysfunction is we so many people live in dysfunction, and it depends on what you feel like is dysfunction during your part of your life. Mine might be different from yours, but we all got something going on. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Shameka. Okay, well, that concludes this Testify Tuesday. I know I got a whole lot out of it. Let us know your takeaways in the comments. We will post just ways that you can connect with Shameka. You can ask her any questions, and I'll make sure she has access to answer them. And that's it. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Shameka.
You're welcome.
All right, you all go in peace and presence.